Hello, everyone. Shauna K here. On a side note, I'm actually thinking about getting a wrist tattoo here, like a brooch or whatever you call it, whatever you call the wrist ones that wrap around like a glove. That kind of matched the style of my half sleeve. So I'm kind of excited. I've been debating what kind of things I'm looking for between these two options. I'm kind of leaning more towards that one, but we'll see. Tattoos are so freaking expensive these days, and I just can't bring myself to pay for shit for myself because selfless mother that wants to nickel and dime everything, and if I do spend, it's for my family. Shout out to the selfless working moms out there trying to budget. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the shame that we endure when you fancy alternative medicine. I think it doesn't get talked about enough. I've done another video on it a while ago, and I'm just going to kind of refresh that and update it with this one. It's so important because the hypocrisy out there in the world is insane, right? We all know people are massive ass hypocrites everywhere. You just can't seem to get away from them. And nothing is worse when it comes to hypocrisy or aligning with hypocrisy when it comes to stuff we consume. You know, I'm getting so much shame for trying the Monjaro injections for losing weight. People are shaming that. I did a video on it. You could hear my thoughts on my 2 cents. So hypocritical. I think people want to just compare and compete and feel like they need to say something about something they really don't know anything about. Struggles that certain people have. For example, I talk about having a chronic illness and how my husband and I just can't lose weight the normal traditional way because of our limitations. So something like Ozempic is a godsend for people like us who actually need it, let alone those with diabetes who need it. So either or, that's a discussion for another video, which I already did, so go check it out. In this one, though, I'm talking about things like alcohol, marijuana, kratom, CBD, wine, those alternative things that people do to entertain themselves, to relax, to let loose. But there's just been this new focus on shaming those that take herbal medicine alternatives like kratom, CBD, delta. Those things are just shamed upon, most often by those that actually drink a lot of liquor, probably like 2 shots of whiskey a night. I know plenty of executives that literally end their day with 2 shots of whiskey, me being one of them. But I'm not the one shaming others for doing something else, right? But there's plenty. I'm talking about those who shame those natural alternative doers are literally either drinking a shit ton of alcohol, smoking, pigging out and overweight, or they're doped up on some Prozac and medication, right? The hypocrisy is ridiculous, and I just want to address that in this video. It's a shameful thing that we see way too much, and that's why I talk about it, because you need to talk about it. You need to call out these hypocrites every chance you get. Don't just stay silent and let people shit on you. And that's why we're here where we are today, because people took the high road and stayed silent and didn't give these people energy, didn't acknowledge them, because you should just ignore the haters. You addressing them is just giving them attention. You're just letting them win. No, all of that has let them literally succeed even more by staying silent, because you're not putting them in their place. You're not humbling them. You're not calling out their bullshit. Society has allowed this to get as bad as it is today. People being bullied as much as they are, lunatics in public office. It is totally in chaos throughout these years. I'm talking decades, past decade actually. It's gotten so bad because people stayed silent and they didn't call out those haters when they needed to be called out. I will never ignore someone that tries to attack me. I will always have my opinion. If it's not actual opinion, it's the laughing emoji. Either or, I find them fucking hilarious, or I will put them in their place. One or the other, but I acknowledge it. Ignoring at it and pretending it doesn't exist just makes things worse. It makes haters worse. It gives them more abilities to continue to open their mouth. Because granted, if you actually corrected them one time they leave a comment and you put them in their place like a badass, the next time they try to do that to someone else, they will hesitate because of remembering what you had said. Now, some will still do it, sure. It's not like it works every time. But many, when they're put in their place, it haunts them, especially when you bring facts into it. So I always want to encourage, when you want to combat these haters, bring facts into the mix. And there's so many facts out there to support marijuana, to support kratom, to support CBD, to support all of these alternatives. The data's out there. The websites are out there. Now you need to know where to look, because if you want to, there's obviously corruption everywhere, right? Even in the government. So yes, there's corruption in the medical field. Tons of it. Pharmacies being corrupt. FDA being corrupt. It's everywhere. So you really have to be careful where you look. The information is out there, and I share links down below in the description because I want you guys to be educated and equipped with comebacks to these lame assholes. Because they're everywhere. They're going to come and they're going to try to shame. So be ready with some good comeback and material to support the choices that you make. It doesn't really matter. You control your life. They can't control you and what you do or what you consume. But it is ironic and something I will always address. Regardless, if we can't control the haters and they can't control us, facts need to be laid out. And these people should not be ignored. Someone had commented, one of my popular fans that really love me and I appreciate them. They were saying about the hypocrisy. I'm like, it's so annoying that they want to shame us for taking green medicinal medicine while they are alcoholics or addicted to sugar, like obese, you name it. There's so much hypocrisy out there, and it's really unfortunate. But equip yourself and don't stay silent are my two biggest advice I could give for that, because there's always going to be haters. They're never going to go away. People feel insecure and they want to open their mouth, even though they're not the ones on YouTube exposing themselves and being vulnerable. So of course they think they're the shit in their comments, when I would love to take what they say serious if they were even half as good as me. Because seriously, I know my value. I know who I am. And I'm a pretty fucking amazing person and a really good person to know. These comments don't affect me in the slightest because I know my value. And that's the third thing. You really need to know your value and be above reproach. And that kind of goes hand in hand. So maybe you are into something that's not healthy. That really is bad. They should just shut their fucking mouth, but they won't. They're going to say 2 cents, share their 2 cents, and tell you how unhealthy it is. And all this study and these new studies that they pull conveniently from government sites, or sites that have a connection financially to the thing that they're supporting or talking against, whatever. But maybe if you're really you think opium is a natural alternative that should be beloved and no one should shame you for enjoying opium, obviously there's some fine print there missing. And even though it's a natural thing, that's always a go-to argument people give. Oh, you support it, kratom, because it's a natural plant. Well, so is opium. You support that too. Like, ooh, you got me there. Beer is natural. Wine or whiskey is natural. So no, there's just because it's natural does not mean that's why I support it. There's obviously natural things, and that's why I always add everything in moderation is key. Anything could become a bad thing. And it's based on the consumer. We can abuse anything that's really good. It could be abused, like love. People are addicted to falling in love, and it could become a big issue. That doesn't mean love is bad. It means the person falling in love for literally anybody and anything has some issues they need to work through. That applies to everything. Everything in moderation is key. That doesn't make that thing evil and bad. It's all about willpower. It's all about self-control. It's all about moderation. When someone really does care and they want to share their 2 cents, I'm always in support of that, especially if they come at me respectfully. Especially the ones that are like little old ladies in the boomer era where they think it's like the devil's lettuce. Anything that's green and natural they think is bad. It's their Valium that they would pop like candy in the 60s and 70s. Either or, if they come at me respectfully, I love to have those kind of debates and chit chats. Because either or, you either agree to disagree or you learn something new. And I always learn something new. All the time I'm learning something new. And I'm always welcome to correction. Because there's a possibility that I might be wrong. But it's all in how you're being approached. If you're being approached by a bitch who wants to be a bitch and treat you like you're one too, you immediately lose cred when you come at me or anyone else like a little pussy-ass hoe who has a small penis, who is so insecure about themselves that they just don't know how to speak respectfully. But if they come out respectfully, we can have a good chit chat and I could learn something or they can. And that's good. It's progress. I think the discussion needs to be had more and more. And that's why I have this on my channel. I talk about these things on my channel because it needs to be talked about. I have a career. I work in the corporate field. I work for a local government. I work in the government system and the public sector. And so you could just imagine the kind of haters and misunderstanding and just situations and scenarios and conversations that I find myself in. The people that have whiskey every night or have their liquor every night, if they were to know about me, and I've had some, know that I support natural things that are legal, obviously completely legal, but just them knowing it, it's like, wow, I don't understand that stuff. I'll never understand that stuff. It's like, yeah, well, I don't understand your liquor stuff. It's kind of weird to have liquor every night. They go, hand in hand. Pick your vice, right? Pick your vice. So that being said, it's pretty much all I'll say on the topic. Don't ignore it, though. Call them out. Sure, if you want to block them, delete the comment. I don't care. But don't let people get away with it because that just makes things worse, makes people more comfortable with the shit that they're dishing out to others. And it stops with me. And I hope it stops with you, too, because then it'll be stopping with a lot of other things and a lot of other people and a lot of other groups and areas in life. And then hopefully we'll have some good, respectable people in powerful positions again. Like no accountability, really. That's the problem. The internet has created a bunch of people with no accountability. No one is being held accountable for the shit they're able to say while hiding behind their device. More people need to hold people to it. Verbally, respectfully, but verbally, dishing out facts. That's how we do it. And not to say that obviously there's not downsides to these things. There are cons to kratom and natural alternatives, just like there are cons to caffeine and wine and alcohol and everything else. Literally, there's cons to everything you could think of. There's cons to love. There's cons to sugar. There's cons to too much water. Yeah. So that's just a no-brainer. I don't even have to be told there's bad things about kratom. The withdrawals are horrible, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but there's cons to everything, and it always includes fine print. Like the people that have had such a bad experience with kratom usually took way too much and extracts. The combination right there is going to create an addict that has no self-control. The fact that they want to go to that shit immediately and continue that and have no self-control, they created their own problem. They created their own withdrawals. Try stopping white sugar. If you get addicted to sugar and you try to do a sugar detox, the withdrawals from that are 100% worse than withdrawing from kratom. Withdrawals from alcohol, if you're an alcoholic, are pretty gnarly. There are withdrawals to anything if you are the reason that it became an issue. So, be educated, be aware, speak up. So much love. See you in my next video.